Greetings and hallucinations to all you folks out there. We've got a cast on Stella Maris today. A lot of familiar faces here because last time I checked, the people who play Stella Maris are kind of turning into a little clan, sort of like Settons. They have a monopoly on the map and they are honing their skills on specifically this one set of terrain, although it is a pretty dang good set of terrain. And yeah, don't go up against some of the people in here if you're not familiar with the map. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody and then we'll dive directly into the asymmetrical action. We've got Cameron Scarecrow taking Seraphim and Cybran, Shidos taking UEF, and Exterminator Hun as UEF as well. This is an asymmetrical map, like I said before, and we'll delve a little bit more into that in just a second. On the south side, we have Gently on Beach going first air. QAI. That is Raptor Jesus taking Cybran. Nekwalich as Seraphim, and another Cybran for Nanotech. So, for the asymmetric nature of the map, you have a double team worth 14 mechs versus a single player sitting on 9 to 10 mass extractors, depending on how you divvy up the mass extractors. You have 5 islands in the middle, 2 for each side. You have a superior number of mass extractors for the north, but you have to drop to get them because there is no water access on the north side. It is a rough cliff face. You can edge build whatever. You're going to be delayed getting to these. There are frigate wrecks out in the center for this side as well. So there's a huge advantage for early air build, or if the south side, and that's exactly what Gently's going for, if the south side can drop early, they can wrench that advantage away and try to get a naval denial on this position. If both of these guys get in the water, get operational, and get their ecos up, then this player basically stands no chance without a drastic amount of help from the front. Raptor Jesus is dropping a naval factory in the right side, which means it's going to be a triple team versus Exterminator Hun if his teammate Shidos does not come in to help him. So, let's go ahead and dive into what these guys are doing with their early builds. First land, 4 plus Hydro, and then an air factory for Exterminator Hun, and he is dropping a naval factory very, very early. Shidos, first land, spread out, grab eco, air factory in the back. And then Cammer is getting an air factory as well as Scarecrow. So first land, second air, pretty much as a universal fact. Scarecrow is edge building 2 naval factories, and there's the drop. Looks like Gently is going to build a torpedo launcher. That is, I think, unfortunately placed. That's the naval factory. That's the range. Ugh, if he would have been right there, he could have reached the first 2 naval factories with the same torp launcher and would have stood a much better chance of naval denial, but I don't think that is going to happen. He gifted the transport to Raptor Jesus, who is going to pick up an engineer and drop it who knows where. We'll just have to see what happens in a minute here. Gently a little slow on expansion, thanks to sending those first engineers off and going first air, but hopefully he'll be able to make it up. He is going to reclaim and build a naval factory, so we'll be denying that reclaim to the north side. Can't ask for a better start than that. On the south, we got Nanotech and Nekwalich both getting naval factories in the water, and then we have engineers coming out. Hopefully those will be able to reclaim that and get all of this locked down before Exterminator Hun can do anything. Obviously, since his air factory is so late, there's not much he's going to be doing drop-wise in the very early game, but he is getting a second naval factory down, so he's going to be building as fast as he can possibly go on naval production. Let's see, that is not good. That is not good at all. We've got mass storages being built by Shidos instead of power generators. He is going to regret that in just a minute. We've got that is 3 T1 engineers dropping on the left from Nekwalich. He is actually going to expend some of his economy trying to secure this naval lockdown. But hey, if he can deny those naval factories, it will be well worth it. We got a T1 bomber coming out for Scarecrow, though. That might throw a little bit of a damper on the party. Going to come directly in for the engineer. Kill 1, just as 3 more drop in to replace it. There are interceptors moving in from this side. Interceptor, singular. But I don't think 1 interceptor versus 2 bombers and another interceptor is going to do much good, especially considering that most of the engineers just died in one fell stroke? Mixing my metaphors, now I'm confused. Gently was able to get all 3 of the wrecks here, though. So that's going to give him a nice little bump in reclaim. 668 mass. To most of these other guys are sitting on slightly more than that, actually, because they reclaimed the rocks that were around their base. But hey, that's reclaim that he got that they cannot get now. So it is still a net positive. As he reclaims all of these rocks where he didn't have early engineers to get started on that before, that deficit will close. That differential, maybe. I am getting confused on my vocabulary like I normally do. Sometimes I think half of y'all just listen to me for the verbal blunders. But whatever. Am I the President Bush of casting? 2 T1 artillery have been dropped in the Navy on this side. They're going to eliminate those torpedo launchers with ease and then hopefully be able to wreck some other stuff as this game moves forward. There is 2 transports, another loading up with artillery as well, so we may get to see a little bit of a combat drop. I would love to see such a thing because that would hopefully even up the odds on a couple of different fronts. It's always hard to tell which way Stella Maris is moving because no matter which side you're looking at, there's stuff happening on the other side that will influence it within 5 minutes. So if Gently loses his build power here, he might go full on air and do something on the other side of the map that would just wreck everything. But we'll have to see what happens with that. Raptor Jesus dropping 2 frigates in, which are going to hammer it out with a couple of UEF frigates with the entrance of a T1 sub that is going to outmatch the UEF Navy for a win for the South, at least temporarily. Lots of build power coming in the water for Exterminator Hun. He is pushing a bit of Navy. Air control going to Cammer. He has 5 interceptors to none currently for Gently after the death of that air unit up there. And 3 artillery being dropped on the T1 Naval Factory on this side. That's a highly unfortunate targeting priority for the T1 bomber. Mexes are not what you want to be killing. And that factory is going to let a Tiger Shark get out, but it is going to go down shortly after. 3 more artillery dropping right after the first. So that Tiger Shark is going to climb out of the water and try to plink away, killing those Zooies 1 pinprick of pain at a time. And eventually they will go down, but not before all of the factories are eliminated. On this side, we do have an attempt by the frigates to move in, but Exterminator Hunt is going to drop a torpedo defense and block with about 6 frigates. Is going to be more than enough to deny that naval movement. And there is a comm drop. Nekulich with a T2 commander and a transport gifted by Raptor Jesus, who is building another transport. So maybe we'll see a second comm drop. T1 point defense going down for Nekulich. Thankfully, the T2 factory is in the back for Shidos. He has all of his economy upgraded and everything in the back, not the front. So this is going to be a hard hit to take, but not excruciatingly painful or necessarily lethal. He is immediately building triads, which is going to be an excellent denial tool. Technically, the Seraphim T2 point defense is stronger in terms of DPS, but the area of effect on Triad is amazing. Building a couple factories out front, maybe that was an attempt at a block, and now he's dropping T2 point defense to engage in the point defense war, which is not necessarily something you want to do versus UEF. Seraphim is stronger on a couple of fronts, but they're also more expensive and slower to build. So if you're talking about a war between shielding and point defense of the factions, typically UEF, I would think, is going to come out on the winning end of that, strictly because they have a better efficiency of cost versus HP. There's the second T2 transport moving in with an ACU. Gotta stumble over my tongue there. Gently is going to drop over to the left, so maximum mayhem for the south side. They're going to do everything within their power to disrupt daily life for the North team. Torpedo bombers keeping Navy off the shores, since Gently has pretty much collapsed in his naval production. And yeah, I wouldn't be pouring mass into that either if I had the ability to get to this side and do this kind of damage. We've got a T2 gun commander for him as opposed to the strictly T2 for Nekulich. He is shedding a lot of health very quickly, but thankfully he's getting a T2 shield online. Once that protective bubble envelopes his commander, then he will be able to win that point defense war, I think, without any fear of further harm. Shidos moving in, maybe just a little bit too close. He does have some T1 unit assistance coming in from Exterminator Hun. Maybe he'll be able to get his ACU out alive. He doesn't need to die at this point because he still has a little bit of eco on the back stretch here. I see now what these guys were doing. Gray took the plateau, and Scarecrow took the outlying islands. So interesting mechs distribution there. Is that another comm drop I see? T3 Stealth Torpedo. Yes, that is a comm drop, I think. Lots of air colliding over this side. Corsairs taking out Shidos. Unfortunate that they lost this guy, but there was not too terribly much he had left to contribute. I am sad about the loss of the economy. T2 power generator and 3 T2 mechs going down with that. Even if he wasn't able to make use of it, the power overflow was very useful for his team, I am sure. But now he is out. Cammer's got the gun upgrade on his commander, definitely weaker than a T2 gun, and he does have a Corsair, but Air is finally able to take it out. Is going to be able to hopefully slow down the progress of Gently, and that is a T2 ACU, or a T2 transport, dropping the ACU in the water. That is T2 Stealth and Torpedo, so maybe he will start working his way across to try to pull a Navy win on the south side. If you can destroy Gently's economy, then Gently becomes much more harmless. On the right side, we've got a combined assault from Nequilich and Raptor Jesus, pushing units into the bay of Exterminator Hun and Nanotech. Why didn't... Okay, Exterminator Hun capturing a T1 point defense, but for some reason Nanotech ran instead of reclaiming, or... That makes no sense at all. Why didn't you just capture the point defense? He was complaining about not having storage. Didn't build storage before he went across. Not entirely thinking that one through. Nice thinking from Exterminator Hun for sure. Torpedo bombers moving in from Raptor Jesus, doing a little bit of extra damage to that already failing Navy. And yes, that is going to be the end of Exterminator's Hun. Stay in the water. Artillery drop on the north side. That is going to start doing a lot of damage to this economy up here, and I spy a beetle drop from the corner of my eye. We're going to have to keep a watch out for where that heads off to. Looks like Exterminator is dangerously low, pinched between frigates and point defense. He is going to die in, well, no. Oh, it's close. Oh, it's close, and he's gone. Combined fire of frigates and point defense, not doing him any favors whatsoever. That is 2 down on the north side. TAC launcher down for Nequilich. He is going to start firing at the economy on this side. They've got to do something about that commander. Thankfully, there is TAC defense up, so it will be denying those incoming TAC missiles. Well thought out on Scarecrow's part. I am sure he saw that commander drop, saw that it was T2. It was like, hey, eventually there's going to be a TAC launcher. I need to take care of this. Scarecrow moving out into the middle, easily controlling the water with the vast range of that torpedo launcher. He does have plenty of air cover at his back. He's going to take care of those T2 torpedo launchers, torpedo bombers rather. Hopefully they'll keep him off of his ACU. More drops going to center, more engineers for Nequilich. Getting my names crossed here. I really wish these fire beetles... Oh, there they are. Okay, let's watch this fire beetling in slow motion. Actually, oh no. No. Okay, that was attack launch for the ACU, which did not connect. Gently hammering away at that ACU with the gun upgrade. He's going to get him below 2,500 health. No, fire beetles coming in. That's going to kill the ACU. That is a double KO. Mutual destruction for those two guys. Oh no, that was awful. And an immediate disconnect for no, he's still alive. Never mind, I'm sorry. Scarecrow is still down on this side, but I don't think there's anything left he can do with Gray gone. That fire beetle was an excellent thought. It would have eliminated this naval player. But holy crap. There's the desync. Does not matter. Does not affect the course of the game. And even though he has the torpedo upgrade and a very strong commander, I think that is going to be it for this game. That was so very, very, very close. If that fire beetle had been successful, that would have totally changed the way that this game was moving. Completely and totally flipped it around. There goes Scarecrow. Replay over. So, if that fire beetle had gone through, Gently would have been eliminated. His eco would have been eliminated. And the Navy could have pushed from this side to overcome this side. These guys had expended a ton of mass getting to the point where they are now. I think it would have actually been a fair matched game, 2 versus 3. But alas, it was not meant to be. That ACU was just a little bit too close with a little bit too little health. And that was it. GG all the way around. Stella Maris always throws some kinks in the works. Comm drops galore because, of course, the land masses don't connect. So that leads to some interesting things. Alrighty, guys. That's going to be the wrap-up on this game. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one.